Hello, everyone. This is Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, the Disrupt Meister. Welcome to the One Bitcoin Show. Today is October the 16th. 2018, buy and hold, strong hand, like the shirt says, long-term thinking, unconfiscatable. All right, people, you know I post a new show here every single day, even when YouTube goes down, okay? For the last hour, over an hour, YouTube has been down. It delayed the show by an hour, but I'm still pumping out these shows to the live audience right now. All you guys watching this live or taped, or whenever, pound that freaking like button because you keep a good attitude, you keep staying awake, you'll get the show in there eventually. YouTube comes back up, and we're going to talk about YouTube going down and Bitcoin not going down in a few minutes. I want to remind everyone that you can see all of This Week in Bitcoin, the This Week in Bitcoin shows at techbalt.com, TECHBALT.com. You can follow me there on Twitter, especially when YouTube is down. Hey, I mean, this is great. There are workarounds. People's addiction to YouTube is wild, though, some of the stuff that I just saw on Twitter. Remember, I'm speaking in New Orleans on December 3rd and 4th. Link to that below if you need a 20% discount code at digitalcurrencycon.com. I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully, I'm going to know where I'm going to be afterwards soon. One place, I don't want to give it away yet. One place will be international. One place will be nice in the United States. All right. So personal responsibility is new counterculture, people. Remember that. Remember that. Yes. Okay. So I see Shane is in the chat right now, who I hung out with recently in person. It was great to meet him in person. And of course, mentioned MGTOW just sent $5 in the super chat. He said, YouTube went down, crazy stuff. Must be the Shemitah. Yeah, oh, sure. You should make a viral video on YouTube about that. No, it's not. I love Vention making those jokes like that. He knows. Oh God, I don't like those people trying to scare people into Shemitahs and things that don't exist. You know, enjoy the real world. Yeah, sure. YouTube went down. It wasn't a conspiracy. It's back up, and we're having a blast over here. So there is a constant battle of sorts that's going on there, and I think the Tether FUD embodies it. And I don't like to say there are crypto wars out there. I don't even like the word battle, but here, let's see what the Twitter haters, the Tether FUDders and haters out there. They represent a never-ending attempted takedown of Bitcoin. That some people just enjoy doing that. They love to try to take down Bitcoin or take down crypto in general, and they go about it in all sorts of different creative ways. And they all have their reasons. And Whalepanda goes over some of the reasons here. He says, why Tether FUD? 1, journalists want them clicks. So yeah, journalists are always willing to FUD Bitcoin and will FUD Tether because that directly FUDs Bitcoin. So they think, they get the clicks. They're scared of people into Shemitahs and nonsense. 2, certain people hate Bitcoin. Look for an excuse why they missed out or why their coin didn't flip Bitcoin yet. Yes, there are a lot of people who get on this Tether train and other FUD trains. And again, this is going to be a never-ending thing. So it's all cyclical, people. There are going to be all sorts of new FUD trains for the people to get on who, they think their coin is the next Bitcoin. They don't realize they should just be happy people and realize that Bitcoin is the next Bitcoin. Why come up with all these convoluted ways to get at Bitcoin and rationalize your hate of Bitcoin? I mean, that's what some of this Tether stuff does. It's kind of like to make the people feel good. Like, oh, this Tether thing's clearly a scam. Thus, Bitcoin must be a scam. Thus, me buying that altcoin that's never going to go anywhere, it's good. I did the right thing. No, All right, competitors have difficulties competing with an established stable coin. Okay, that's another reason. So yeah, that really doesn't have to do with Bitcoin FUD out much, but yeah, there maybe are competitors that just want to take down Tether too. I don't know. It's an interesting thread that is retweeted by the great Whalepanda. Everything I talk about is linked to in this below, and I'm a little tired, obviously. It's late here, and but yeah, you can also follow me on Steemit at Bitcoin Meister and disruptmeister.com. Watch all the archives. But yeah, I'm just bringing up this Tether thing because I think it gives us a little insight in some of the FUDsters out there, because they're fudding Tether because they're indirectly trying to FUD Bitcoin also. But hey, let them do that. This is the free world. Personal responsibility is the new counterculture. I'm not here to battle them. They are battling the Bitcoin holders. But we're not fighting back because we don't need to fight back against them. They can't stop us. It's unconfiscatable. 1 Bitcoin equals 1 Bitcoin. So let them have their FUD parties. These are big FUD parties. And unfortunately, these FUD parties, they scare weak hands. Weak hands lose their Bitcoin, which is unfortunate. That's an unfortunate result. But this is where the big boys play. And there are going to be unfortunate results for people who do not have strong hands. Okay, there's a guy named Firdaus Bey. He's in Montreal. I had heard of him before, and he's a pretty smart guy and everything. He has a Medium post out there, post-Bitcoin maximalism, he calls it. So he kind of paints Bitcoin maximalists into a very extreme little corner, as if, Bitcoin maximalists are just, I don't know, nothing can exist, but maybe some are like that. So there's an interesting article, and he concludes with, "May the meritocracy win." That's his. Well, I think Bitcoin maximalists believe in that they have the best thing and it will win. And in a meritocracy, the best wins. But again, he kind of brings up that Bitcoin maximalism is either misunderstood or maybe I misunderstand it. I'm a Bitcoin firster. I'm willing to admit, there are other altcoins out there, fine. But in the long run, in the meritocracy, Bitcoin will win. Is the winner. And yeah, it's competition is good. And he talks about how banks are going to compete with Bitcoin, and are going to attempt to compete with Bitcoin. And Bitcoin maximalists don't realize that, and Bitcoin maximalists don't realize that governments are going to try to compete with Bitcoin. No, I think they do realize that. I realize that indeed it's a free market. Banks will try to compete with Bitcoin, and to a certain extent, they're going to be able to stay alive because of that. They will. They're not banks are, and I've said this in many different ways, many different times. Banks aren't going to die, and I don't think you have to be a Bitcoin. If you're a Bitcoin maximalist, I think you can admit that all banks aren't going to die. So I think again, he's painting them into a very extreme little corner there, and maybe some Bitcoin maximalists, maybe their definition is yes, there will be no competition. Bitcoin will squash all competition. There won't even be banks anymore. There will be banks. They'll find creative ways. Nations will find creative ways to compete against Bitcoin, and they'll all survive. But the best one to be in will be Bitcoin. The best will be Bitcoin, not to have your money in a bank or to have your Bitcoin in a bank. To truly own your Bitcoin will be the best. So it's an interesting article. I think be a Bitcoin firster. How about that? Be a Bitcoin firster. The Bitcoin is the first. You can talk about the other altcoins. You can study the other cryptocurrencies. But in the end, that Bitcoin is the next Bitcoin, 1 Bitcoin, and you value your wealth in Bitcoin. All right. So Messari is a company out there that deals with cryptocurrency and whatnot. And they have an interesting blog post about Fidelity. And this Fidelity thing is a big thing. This is their opinion, at least. This is the largest institutional foray into crypto to date and the industry's biggest news of the year. So the Fidelity announcement from yesterday, they think it's just, I mean, it's huge. Now, I don't like to blow things out of proportion, but yeah, the institutional money is coming. And this, I'm no expert on how large these institutions are, but if they actually get into this, yeah, it will be the biggest institutional move so far. So that's great. That was big news yesterday, but most people would rather talk about Tether. And most people would rather try to take their shots at Bitcoin to try to bring it down. They'll learn the hard way. They'll learn the hard way. You know, Bitcoin dominance being over 50%, does that mean that over 50% of the people in crypto believe that Bitcoin is the one? Heck no. So will we ever get to a point where in cryptocurrency, most people believe that Bitcoin is the one? You would think so, but this is an illogical world. I cannot predict how 80%ers think. Will there always be coins and institutions out there trying to paint themselves as the next Bitcoin and people falling for it? Who knows? I guess in the crypto space one day, most people will understand that Bitcoin is the number one, that it is the world. I mean, I really think it will be the world reserve crypto. So how can you deny that it's the world reserve crypto once it's so obvious that it's the world reserve? Like, can people deny that the US dollar is the world reserve currency? I mean, you could be a big Euro fan, I guess. I don't know. I don't know if that's a proper comparison. And I don't know if this is even worth discussing at this point. But Masari also has job openings, and I link to that below. So check out their Fidelity post. So some more in motion people. A guy on Twitter wanted me to ask this question. What top brands would you spend your Bitcoin or altcoins on? Oh my God, I am offended by selling. Pound that freaking like button. But even though I'm offended by selling, I'm going to let this dude have his question, because eventually people will use Bitcoin. They will sell it. They will buy things with their Bitcoin. So in the comments section, or you can tweet at me, what brands would you be willing to spend your Bitcoin or altcoins? How about just altcoins on? I just can't say spend Bitcoin. Oh my God, it's so hard for me to, I've got such a strong hand on my Bitcoin. I can't let go of it. Don't worry. Yes, I know. I said in 2021, I want to get my dad whatchamacallit, if they're still around, a Tesla. I guess that's the brand I would spend my Bitcoin on. But, you know, I don't know if this guy's talking, what brands would make you give up your Bitcoin after the 2020 halving, of course? No. I mean, if you're a person who's willing to spend your Bitcoin before the 2020 halving, leave your opinion below. And what brands, the bottom line is, what brands are you interested in spending crypto on? This guy wants to know. I'm still offended by selling though. Okay. YouTube was down for an hour, and some of the stuff on Twitter over an hour. Some of the stuff on Twitter was crazy. People just going wild. I mean, it was like their heroin addiction was gone. People are clearly addicted to it. So I know, and it was an example of why we need a crypto alternative to YouTube. But in the end of the day, I think people's addiction is so strong that they forgive YouTube already. They're already back on YouTube right now. I mean, you're watching me right now live, a lot of people. And I think 80%ers forgive and forget real quick. It would take quite a lot for them to give up their brand loyalty to YouTube. Now, that's not saying, hey, I'm not saying there shouldn't be a crypto version though. And I know people are working on it, and 20%ers will gladly go there if they can earn, and it'll be a great way to get people into crypto if there is some easy combination of a video platform and crypto. Now, will that ever overtake? Even if one is so freaking awesome, will it be able to overtake YouTube ever with all the 80%ers out there? Because I mean, YouTube is really becoming just like the mainstream media. There's so much mindless stuff on there that people can just. I mean, it's even more powerful than what TV was beforehand for people who can leverage that power. But again, I'm speaking to a 20% audience here. And if you're a 20%er, you can really learn a lot from the 20% type videos on YouTube, from the educational stuff. But that's not what YouTube is going to promote. But if there's a crypto alternative, maybe that will be promoted on it. So yeah, Bit2, BitChute, Bit this, Bit that. Go ahead. And no, this just didn't give them a lot of momentum. They're going to have to work hard on their own to get their own momentum, create something that's really original and just easy for crypto. And no, and it was unfortunate. I would have just recorded a video and uploaded it to DTube or DLive, excuse me, DLive. But you know, DLive, they went off the Steemit platform. Now they're on something else, and they haven't transitioned me. So I've just bye-bye DLive. But hey, I got this video in there anyway, on here on YouTube anyway. So pound that like button. A guy in South Africa that I met, a great guy, Greg. He's got a Bitcoin ATM in Johannesburg now, and he's going to send me some videos of it. But for now, you can just go to I linked to it below, btcatm.co.za. And if you're in that suburb of Johannesburg, where the conference was that I went to, what is the name of that? Sandton. If you're in Sandton in the mall, one of the malls there, you can see this thing. Hey, Greg's a good guy. He's in motion. So I mentioned good guys that are in motion that I've met in person before. And we'll have more on that on tomorrow's show. Hey, remember to bang that bell button if you need a reminder when this show goes live. If it really goes live, if YouTube keeps up. No, again, with YouTube going down, the one thing that I wanted to say is, it's a reminder, if YouTube can go down, and it's one of the most powerful entities in media, and it's part of such a powerful entity. Google is one of the most powerful entities in the world. Bitcoin doesn't have downtime. Bitcoin doesn't. Compare Bitcoin to YouTube. That's awesome. That just shows you how the greatness of even YouTube can have downtime. Bitcoin does not have downtime. Freaking awesome reminder. And that's why Bitcoin is the rock and why it's the future and why it's still early here. So B-Rock had a funny line in the chat yesterday. This dude is in my chat a lot. I don't know if he's in the chat right now. He says he was imitating me, but it was the anti-meister. Hello, everyone. This is the anti-meister, the fiat meister, the status quo meister. Welcome to the non-Bitcoin show. Weak hands, short-term thinking, offended by buying. Dude, that was freaking awesome. I wouldn't have read that line, dude, if it was not awesome. That is great. Someone should just make a video like with some guy with like nice flat combed hair. He's very calm, and that should be his opening line. There should be the anti-meister. It's the anti-meister show where you do everything wrong. You become an 80%er, and you watch mindless mainstream media. You go to YouTube to watch ABC and NBC and CBS shows. All right. Okay. Finally, I mentioned the band Aha and that awesome song they did in the 80s that I was just pumped up to hear. And I said, they're an example of, American music that is popular all over the world. And I said, they're probably a British band, and then I found out they're in fact a Norwegian band. Now I think most people can understand what I mean by that. And yeah, calling it American music is an oversimplification of it. There are a lot of English-speaking bands out there that are not necessarily from America, the United States, that kind of fit into that traditional, what was established in Hollywood and New York City, the big record labels that made music that originated in America so big, rock and roll type of music, which now has gone into all sorts of different genres, whether it be rap and heavy metal, et cetera, that from America, from these big production houses and everything, just created this mainstream pop culture that, yes, you could be a band from Norway, but if you're speaking in English, singing in English, and you're on the Warner Brothers label, you were part of that general American music popular culture trend. And I'm not dissing the British and I'm not dissing the Norwegians, but do you guys understand what I'm saying here? That the United States of America, through its creativity and through its business, through the free market that the businesses thrived in, created this pop culture, which everyone loved. I mean, 80%ers love across the entire world. So you can hear our music, our being British also in Norway, you know, all over the world. It was a very powerful, it is a very powerful force. People want American brands and people, they just love it. And so that, and I've traveled around a lot and now we're going away from Bitcoin, but I'm going to tie it back in. And the US dollar is what backs all that stuff up. It also backs up the welfare system. The welfare system isn't going anywhere. And the dollar is not going anywhere. It's the American institutions, pop culture institutions are beloved throughout the whole world. And that helps allow this dollar fiat-led world to continue. But again, it can continue while Bitcoin thrives like a mother also. And I'm not saying it's smart to mess around in mainstream American culture. I'm not saying that at all. And I'm definitely not saying it's smart to mess around in the dollar. It's smart to mess around in Bitcoin. It's smart to understand that fitting in is overrated. So pound that freaking like button. 1 Bitcoin equals 1 Bitcoin. That was a really long, drawn out explanation of why AHA is part of American music. And I hope you got it. And I'm clearly tired. Pound that like button. I'm Adam Meister, Bitcoin Meister, Disrupt Meister. Remember to subscribe to this channel, like this video, share this video. Check out the link section below. And if you like talk like that, then tune into the Saturday show. That's where I really should be talking about this kind of stuff, the Beyond Bitcoin show. I'll say hi to you guys in the chat. Good night.